Ever since EVO's SNK Cross Capcom illustrations dropped, I've been thinking that just maybe, they would be gearing up for a Capcom vs SNK 3. Now that all the re-release of SNK vs Capcom SVC Chaos has dropped, it seems like it might have a chance. With that being said, I'll drop my dream roster before any leaks can be made. So, let's get into it. Overview. For the quick setup of this, I will have 66 characters for this dream roster. I will introduce these characters with their rival matchup I think would go well for the game. So, let's start with the matchups. Ryu and Kyo Kusanagi. In all installments of SNK going against Capcom, these two are rivals. I don't see any other reason to match them up against anyone else for the main match. Now all characters would have a second rival, but not going to go into that for this video. Ken Masters and Terry Bogard. Street Fighter VI and City of the Wolves shows why these two are a great matchup, and we can get the other side of the story on City of the Wolves is released. Chun-Li and Mai Shiranui. These two are the classic matchups, and I don't see anyone better to match up against. Mai could have interfered in one of Chun-Li's investigations and started their rivalry. Guile and Leona Hyder. These two are rivals in SNK vs Capcom, the match of the millennium, so I'll keep it going. To me, they both are mission-orientated and could have met out on a mission and became enemies because of the goals they were set out to accomplish. Dan Hibiki and Joe Higashi. These two have been set up as rivals in this crossover series as well. They match up well in my eyes. I see it as Dan looking to challenge more Maui TIE fighters, preparing for Sagat, finds Joe, and challenges him. Sagat and Ryo Sakazaki. Now, I put these two together because Ryo is similar to Ryu, and when Sagat notices this, will want to test his skills to see if he compares to the warrior he knows. Ryo, always ready to face strong opponents and spread his style around the world against them, accepts the fight. Akuma and Mr. Karate. These two suit each other better than Rubel going against Akuma. I see these two matching up like Akuma does against Guken. Morrigan Ensland and Nakaruru. These two were matched up in Capcom vs SNK, but I didn't understand why. So I did some looking into the samurai's background and seeing why, and came up with a simple scenario for the two. Morrigan comes to the human realm for exciting battles, as she did with Chun-Li. This triggers Gia, who sends out nature's beacon, and Nakaruru awakens to fight the disturbing presence caused by Morrigan. Yukisoki Hideyasu and Ki. These two are from similar era with the power of an ancient god empowering them. It seems only right that they face off. Their power could attract them to the same threat, and when in front of each other, think they are the threat they sensed. Yuri Han and Kim Kafwan. I think everyone is waiting to see this matchup. The two Taekwondo masters, one for good and the other being villainous. It's a matchup and story waiting to write itself. Cammy and King. These two normally are not rivals, but considering their status and strong women fighters early on in their series, allowed me to put them together. They could have gained this rivalry, but M16 setting their eyes on a bat called the illusion as a criminal stronghold. When Cammy enters, King notices she may be trouble and demands she leave, starting their matchup. Kayasuke Kagami and Iori Yagami. These two to me should have been rivals in Capcom vs SNK 2. They are similar in attitude, and Iori could remind Kayasuke of his late brother, triggering him to help him get rid of the riot of the blood. Sakura Kasagano and Yuri Sakazaki. These two match up perfectly in my eyes. With Ryu and Ryo being the men that they look up to makes it easy to pair them up together. There could be a local martial arts tournament to gain money. Yuri enters to gain the money for the dojo, while Sakura enters to gain the money for college. Luke Sullivan and Rock Howard. These two are both the new leads of the new era for their series, Street Fighter VI and Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves. That is what drove me to match them up. These two could cross paths while Luke was assigned to investigate Geese and Rock is questioned about his father by Luke. Zangief and Raiden. These two matched up previously as well. I see these two facing each other in the ring. Red Cyclone versus Raiden. Gunlock and Tizak. I chose these two matching up seeing how they have different attitudes that would clash in the ring. They would be tag team partners to Zangief and Raiden in an official match. Hugo and Earthquake. Hugo and Poison travel the world looking for people to join their organization. They come across Earthquake and challenge him and his gang. If they win, he and them must join Hugo and Poison. Blanka and Mudman. These two would be my odd character matchup. I see Blanka traveling and getting lost in a forest and coming across a tribe. Thinking Blanka is a monster, Mudman steps up to protect his village. Joseph Gibson and Marco Rossi. I put these two against each other simply because their games are similar, and I wanted to see them in a versus game at the same time. They could have a mission and at the start are at odds and prepare to see whose squad is the best. Baby Bonnie Hood and Sylvie Paula Paula. These two being humans dealing with out of the ordinary beings and experiments and are extreme opposites in personalities. These two would meet up if B could mistake Sylvie as a Darkstalker because of her powers and Sylvie thinks she is an agent of Nest to punish her for being useless. Rashid and Kukri. These two I chose because they both are related to a desert environment and are opposites from each other. Rashid could be traveling to build a following and see a sandstorm. For views, you plan to blow it away, and when he does, a man stands at the center. He challenges this man for even more views on his channel. Urien and Mukai. These two are chosen just because I wanted to see them match up. They both are a part of a secret organization that reaches back far into the past of human history. Urien remember being told that a clan of Earth escaped into the future, waited for the day to see if he was as strong as past warriors, and found Mukai. Knowing of the Illuminati, he accepts Urien's challenge to see what their warriors are capable of. M. Bison and Geese Howard. The two big iconic bosses of their company. These two are rivals already, and I don't want to change that. They could work together for a common goal and betray each other afterwards. Vega and Billy Kane. The number twos of Bison and Geese, so it's only right that they would match up. During the betrayal, they would face off. Balrog and Ruji Yamazaki. I matched them up because of their relationship towards the big bosses. They both look to be paid and have no true loyalty to them. During the betrayal, they would fight just because, but money would make them leave the battle or join the opposite side. Violent Ken and Orochi Iori. I see these two pairing up better than Evil Ryu and Orochi Iori. Plus, Evil Ryu is no more now. Both being pawns in Bison and Geese schemes, Bison surges Ken with psycho power and unleashes him on Iori to trigger the riot of the blood. Now they are led to be unleashed on the tournament fighters to wreak havoc. Dmitry Maximov and Gonitz. These two are rivals in SVC Chaos and it matches up well. They would meet in a village Dmitry isn't looking for victims to drain. Sensing each other, they would battle it out as Gonitz hates foul creatures. Rose and Chizuru Kagura. These two were put as rivals because of what they meant to the game they were introduced in. Rose could appear to Chizuru saying she had a prophecy that the three treasures must not join together, which angers Chizuru and triggers a battle as both think they are doing what is needed to save the Earth. Lastly, Denma Lord Nobunaga and Dragon Emperor Kuryu. These two warriors were both great before their death and were resurrected as a warrior to help demonic forces. They are powered by opposite power though, which makes them good rivals. With the fighters revealed, I will go through who the bosses are for this game. Boss characters. Now these games are all about sub-bosses, bosses, and secret bosses, and with that being said, that is what this new game would have. For the sub-bosses, you know it would have to be bison and geese, but not just their regular forms, their enhanced forms. Psycho Bison and Nightmare Geese, but only during the second round of the last battle. Psycho Bison would be a corrupt version of Shin Bison from the Street Fighter EX series. The boss battles would be Nobunaga and Kuryu. It only seems right as they are high-powered villains. Now, for the hidden bosses, we got to stick with Shin Akuma and Serious Mr. Karate, but Mr. Karate would be powered by the Orochi power and gained control over it. They would replace Bison and Geese as sub-bosses. DLC characters. I'll just run through these characters as they were purely choices that would make the game interesting to me. There will be 10 total for this roster. These characters are Michelle Hart, Megan Laughlin, Dudley, Rob Python, Captain Sawada, Ralph Jones, ACAP, Vice, Red Arima, and Princess Athena, OUTRO. For this one, I thought I would switch it up and try adding characters that haven't been in this series with my favorite returners. This would not be my roster if I was making this game for real, similar but definitely better choices for a story mode. What do I all think? Let me know in the comments which character you agree with and which ones you don't. Tell me which characters I missed and which ones you think should be replaced. Until next time, warriors.